So, let me tell you guys a story about a young boy and his mother walking to school. Along they walked side by side. He had always been told to remember one very important rule: never let go of mommy's hands. Both of them walked to school hand in hand, wandering past the critiques of this stereotyped world. The boy was oblivious to his surroundings most of the time. But the only thing he noticed was that some of the other children were not bound by their mothers. All the other children enjoyed their walk to school, either chasing a butterfly or demanding not to eat the sickening school lunch. He wondered why he had different rules from his mother. He constantly questioned why rules applied to some people and not to others. The rules were different for the bigger people, parents, adults, and sometimes his younger sister too. Both of them reached the crosswalk. Then, suddenly, the boy darted from beside her and started off across the road. Approaching cars skidded to a screeching halt. Faces were red with panic and anger. The driver squalled, and the crossing guard blew her whistle with ferocity. The boy's mother lunged forward and ran to grab her son from in front of the cars. As she did, she could hear the other mothers shouting heatedly at her son, "Unruly child! That was such a stupid thing to do. You know, you never cross the street without the crossing guard." And she heard some mutter under their breath, "Terrible mother," and she'd be ashamed of herself. She carried on walking across the road, holding tightly to her son. After all, they didn't understand, as their son looked like any other child. Why wouldn't they expect him to follow all the rules? The boy heard the words they shouted at him, but he took none of it to heart. They were just repeating the rules, feeding him information he already had. The rules were stupid. That's all there was to it. He preferred his world. There, he could do whatever he wanted without the rules. His world was much safer and happier. He wondered, why couldn't other people live in their own worlds too? Why did they insist in living in a world that didn't make any sense? Why couldn't people just be different? And that boy was none other than my very own brother Farhan, who passed away at the age of 12 and indeed was affected by autism. Now, what is autism? Autism refers to a range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behavior, nonverbal communication, as well as by unique strengths and differences. It could either be caused by environmental or genetic influences. Now, if a person is autistic, is it really their fault? Should we all just exclude them from our society and consider them as being abnormal or psychotic? Why do we always have to follow this completely irrational social norm of excluding people who are different? Normally what happens is we start judging people based on one single snapshot. But in reality, there's just so much more to the story. This is what happened to Farhan as well. The world had only seen one snapshot of him, eventually making negative assumptions. As a result, they never realized that being different is actually extraordinary. By extraordinary, I mean my brother had traits which I think were pretty awesome. He had lived 12 years of his life, and the surprising fact is that he never lied. Isn't that crazy? I bet I would have never been able to do that. Imagine in his entire lifetime, not a single phrase which was intentionally framed for the purpose of deception. That is definitely impossible for me. Though destiny hadn't given him the opportunity to speak, but indeed it did bestow him with a rare gift, which was to stay truthful. He was able to remain true to every single person, refraining himself from the treacheries of this cruel world. He also never hurt the feelings of others. Could we all take a moment to actually look back on all the incidents through which we have hurt others? I guess there are countless, but the case with Farhan was different. He was an innocent soul who never let other people feel dejected. Well, if being different makes people so unique, then why don't we just accept it? There are countless people in this world to whom we all look up to. We might know them for their exceptional talents or the great contributions that they made to the mankind. This includes the likes of Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, and many more. But did you know that as a young child, Bill Gates was actually found to be on the autism spectrum, while the world-famous pianist Ludwig van Beethoven was actually deaf? These individuals were once different. If we could accept them upon their success, then why not accept all the other individuals who are different today and urge to lead a happy life? It's okay to be different. From now on, why can't we be inclusive? Not just because it's the right thing to do. Because if we don't, we might lose out on great talent and potential. For instance, if we hadn't accepted these famous individuals then, maybe today, the world would have never been graced by the technological advancements made by Bill Gates or the celestial melodies of Beethoven. Well, if being different makes people so unique and special, why don't we accept it? If we don't accept differences, then how are we going to recognize talent? Being different is not a bad thing. In fact, the differences in a person is what make them unique and stand out from others. Differences are precious traits which we all have. They make each and every individual remarkable. Our differences define us and act as our strengths. So, let's learn to embrace differences and value individuality, because being different does not mean that you're broken. Thank you, everyone.